Go Utopia versus eSuba. Utopia looking to pick up 3 points. eSuba need the points just as badly. Happens here on Himmelsdorf. Utopia on the defense and eSuba on the attack.
We can see already Combat in his FVTD positioning on that standard position J8, J9. You can see on a corner that little triangle aiming for the middle. Super aggressive spot by Shuku, going really into the lines of eSuba, trying to spot the 8 line. Already picking up some shots.
Overus comes out with a big connection on towards that tier 9 bad shot. Shuku will get himself in the corner. And like you said, Utopia went for the aggressive play, but eSuba kind of dodged it.
Yeah, they already have Overus, but Overus is pretty much alone there. It's gonna be really disastrous here because they're already taking some damage. We need to see will Combat actually be able to join the fight and do something about it. Both of the 50Bs are out to the fight.
E100 is rushing the 8 line. Never thought I would see it in my lifetime. But Froly and Lukin, they're on the run, but they're getting chipped down. Froly especially, he's tracked. Shuku now peeking out and taking the E100 very low as Overus makes it to the cap. And that's the thing though, Mocho. This capture circle number 2 is completely open.
It's completely open. They have 2 50Bs and a nice 7. That's a great potential there for them. But they're losing a lot of meat here in those E100s. Utopia needs to close them in from the other angles now.
Utopia has 30 seconds left before this base gets captured. They go into the courtyard. They're rushing the 8 line. They need to make it as quick as they can. Combat is still being pushed up towards the hill from Thomas, like Papa Pavian going towards Lucan as Muka is trying to find the reset here. Muka takes the big shot here from Overus in the ice time. Can he get a connection? He needs to track him at the very least. Muka, you need to get a reset here. 12 seconds. Papa Pavian might do it. Lukin trying to block, but I think they will just about get back for the reset. But look at the damage they've taken. 6 seconds left. Papa Pavian should get there in time, but look how much Utopia has paid.
Whew, that was close. That's like 2 or 3 seconds away, but Papa Pavian ignored everything else and just went for the reset with G's important move. Now, HP-wise, eSuba is actually slightly ahead, guys, but positions are horrible for them.
They lose Overus as well, who just got tracked on the corner. They're going to go for Papa Pavian here, but Andrew is taking damage along the way, and Papa Pavian might take at least one of them with him in his grave, and there we go. Colossord picks up Andrew as Yukets now trying to take down Papa Pavian. Only just about has Zero available as Colossord is clipping from the side. There we go. Yukets picks up Papa Pavian, but at a very big cost as Dynamo now comes in to close out the kill on Yukets, on Tomasek. They'll clean it up, and it just be Combat, Mocho, and you better pray he does a big shot.
Let's go, boy. Give it a big one before you go down.
Well, he might be giving it towards FC Dynamo. He peeks over. Can he get Dynamo? He aims. Oh, 787 as the FVTD didn't really work out, and Mojo gets a little bit disappointed. But the first round here for Utopia, and that was interesting. That was something else.
That was really fast round here. You could see by lineup Utopia, they might be ready, but can't get... I don't get it. Like, sorry, but eSuba guys pushing E100 on the 8 line, which is
not in my life, not in my lifetime.
By any circumstances, it's easy to spot them, shoot them in the side. But this was even worse because Utopia didn't wait for it. They just pushed instant, and they immediately took one of them out and the other right after that. So yes, it came close to the end of the cap, but. Effectively, honestly, if Muka positioned a bit better with his grille, he would have no problems.
If he just hits him in the track, that's a reset.
I just thought if he was like maybe more proactive, and he tried first to watch on the left side and peek, and then he saw a nice 7.
If he just ran,
if he just ran and fired the shell, and that's it.
But look at that, Mojo. I see something that's going to make us happy, as Lukin is the first player here for eSuba, but Colossal and Papa Pavian doing the work for Utopia.
Yes, we must root for eSuba for sure because we have 3 players there, but I think Lukin and Yukets are in both of our teams.
But then Ryan has Yukets as well, but he doesn't have Lukin. He has Tomasek.
He has Tomasek and Andrew. But I have Combat.
Andrew as well.
I have Combat. Yay!
I won't complain. I mean, Andrew did only 400 damage less Mojo than Combat, so I don't see what you're also happy about. All I saw was Tomasek with 600, 700.
True that. No cap points here, or decap, or any sort. But still, coming back to the game, Utopia with rather, let's say, admirable performance in the first game here.
If Lukin blocked Papa Pavian like he was doing with the rest of the team, they would have won that. I'm actually not even joking. 3 seconds. If he blocks him, he needs to catch speed again. go to top
Yeah,
speed.
but it wasn't 3 seconds when the block would happen. It was like maybe 10 seconds to the cap. And Lukin is an E100 and not a ballerina.
But they drove straight past him.
Still, it's a momentary choice. And can you get it? Are you fast enough? Can you like touch that 113 to check it by just like touching it because you are heavy enough? It's a lot of those kind of moments. And
But
still,
then again, Muka should still have gone the reset.
yeah, that's
so.
what I want to say. Like you would always have an alternative. Then Muka could have played better, and this wouldn't happen like this. He just got deleted.
Yeah, but it was the attack for eSuba. Perhaps they'll get the defensive round. That was a very interesting push throw from Utopia. Everybody pretty much down 1-2. Don't think eSuba's going to do that, but let's find out as we look at the tanks if they are. I doubt it, though. I really doubt it. But eSuba... well...
Sorry, Danny, but you are not a meme master anymore.
eSuba's like, maar check comrades from Gunlanders. Danny thinks he's the meme lord for 2-0. Let's show him who the real memers are as eSuba. I mean, meme, it might work. We have seen a defense work with this amount of heavy tanks, though.
We've seen actually defense working with 3 mouses.
Yes, that was go hard.
On the Himmelsdorf. It's something also played on CS region before, but not many choose to play so because it can be risky.
Oh, but Mojo, when we get into game, there's one thing to point out, but yeah, it's very interesting. 3 mouse. I think somebody told me that the plural of mouse is mausen or something. I'm serious.
On which language?
German or something. I'm just going by Twitch chat references, okay? I think even Elfish guy, Apacaster, said mausen. Mausen? Mice?
No,
I don't know.
No habla German, sorry.
I don't know. But let's get into the second half here of Himmelsdorf. Utopia on the attack, sitting on 1. eSuba on the defense, sitting on 0. But looking to change that as they have 4,000 HP.
Am I correct? Or actually Gohard playing with the 3 mouses against Utopia?
It could be.
I think they did actually, and Utopia is completely confused. They didn't know what to do, and then they just, okay, we're going to attack here, and they died.
I think it might be like that, but I just remember that it was Gohard. I don't remember who they played. Where are they going?
Okay, so it looks like they will position these mouses in this 5 line, in this pocket maybe. I hope they're not pretending to make a trap or something. Well, there are obviously a couple of versions you can play this around with. But at the moment, Utopia, what they need to do is find the location of these mouses and get some info for themselves. I believe that Tomaszek is in garage, probably playing with binos there, sitting and spotting on toward the rail. So you can see this is something like a really old school setup, because this is how Himmelsdorf was defended in some of the versions when the tier 8s were played.
The interesting factor here, Mojo, that I want to talk about is Utopia does not have a tier 8 that they can just put on the cap and is expendable. They're playing with double tier 9. How much is this going to affect them if they are going to go for either of the 2 caps? They don't have that small tier 8 tank that can be expended if needed. They can show it away.
Oof,
How much is that going to affect it?
Lukin already picked up some damage there. Honestly, it goes well for Utopia at the moment to have bigger guns, because they can always put one guy on a cap and no one is expendable then. Like Oleso, it will trigger the cap and he will be covered by the other guys. You can certainly say that, well, eSuba will not be able to do a counter push with the lightning speed. But what you wanted to point out in a start is that eSuba is cheating and they have 4,000 HP more.
Yeah. And now Overus in combat will spot on Maraka. Maraka in that Emil. Can he do some damage on towards them? No, so far no connections from him. He has 3 shots available. The first one didn't go through. He has to be careful in that courtyard, because there are 50 Bs available here for eSuba that could make a play on towards him at any given moment in time. But it's just Tomaszek over there right now. And what is the ultimate plan here for eSuba to deal with this cap pressure, which will start being put on time and time again?
Well, eSuba is trying, I mean, eSuba is just trying to buy time, obviously, but Utopia is just trying to chip some HP away from them. And so far they managed to do it only on Lukin. But they did lose like 3 minutes. And you can see they're not satisfied with results. So that's why they're rotating around Dynamo and Colesoid to go on a completely another side of the map. And a couple of other tanks. There is a possibility they will try to maybe even trigger one cap or just to play some kind of pincer crossfire. Nice connection here by Muka.
Yes, a great shot actually on towards Luke, and you could see him there with that heat ammunition. Now Dynamo and Colossword are spotted. Marakar actually relocated back in towards the window. Still no connection so far on towards combat. The second shot perhaps from Marakar
Look at
does
Lukin's
damage
HP.
though.
Lukin picks up more shots. He's on one shot now. Froly crossed here, so he can decap, but he lost half HP for it. This is a heavy price they're paying for it, and the mobility is not their hardest point.
Jukic comes around the corner, tries to connect on towards Bihu, does not. Bihu just about gets safe as Froly taking even more damage. He needs to be careful, but they have kind of a separation here. The Utopia tanks are kind of out of position. Bihu still taking more damage, and now Rulezik needs help as Andrew in his 50B is starting to make an approach behind. Froly needs to make sure that he doesn't go down for this trade, and the rest of the Utopia tanks are kind of stuck in towards 8 line. This game is not over. eSuba has a lot of HP available to them, and Rulezik is getting flanked now by a 50B, by Andrew, who is doing the damage towards him. Froly actually gets Rulezik from the backside, and that's one tank down, and still 3,000, well, 2,000 HP at this point in favor of eSuba.
They can still approach with these mouses, and one of them can take all the beating in the world, so others can push. I believe there is really a good time for Bihu to rotate and try to take out this Tomaszek on one-on-one maybe, because he's a butchot, but there is a push coming in. Combat and Overus are slowly rolling in, and they will press these Utopia tanks here. They will have to run for the courtyard.
Combat and Overus, as you said, coming towards the corner here. They want to take the autoloader shots. Combat, look at the non-connections coming in. Already 2 of them. The damage is now starting to come on towards that mouse, but it's exactly what they want. They are trading for this, but they should be able to trade some HP in their favor as Dynamo takes damage as well. Marakar takes some, and Combat is taking all of it for their team. That's exactly what eSuba wants. Yukets picks up Marakar. That is good. Muka is still in the backline, spotted out in his grill. He's going to try to make a play on towards Andrew as Colosoid and Papa Pavin kind of locked down here in that courtyard, and Lukin, he's holding Muka off as well. The HP still in favor of eSuba, and how does Utopia get out of this?
This is brilliant here for eSuba. They still have all the 7 guns in the game, but the HP is lowering, and it's almost equal. The problem is Muka has a lot of it. That's the biggest problem for Utopia here, and he's cut out of the game. The whole game is on these Clippers in the courtyard. If they manage to prevail somehow, kill Combat without losing anyone, they actually might have a chance to win a game.
In the meantime, Bihu actually gets picked up by Tomaszek as Muka goes down towards the triple crossfire from Utopia. They lose Colosoid, they lose Papa Pavian, and Mojo, can you believe it? Still, seven tanks remain here for eSuba. They made the mouse work. Yukets might be the only one going down as Dynamo clipping out towards him. Yukets does not have any shots available. As I say, 7 tanks alive. Yukets decides to ruin it. That's Combat. Gets the final kill, and eSuba make it 1-1, and what a play.
That's a hell of a comeback coming in here. As I said it, 3 guys from Utopia died in the next couple of seconds, and that pretty much ended this round. But good, and I would say even ballsy play here coming in from eSuba. They use the potential of those mouses pretty well.
The thing is, though, what Utopia seem to be in a good situation, right? Starting the cap, doing damage, running away. I think the issue for them was, though, that it created a separation between the 2 forces
They had no covering on Rulezik. They had no backup
and
for that.
Even Muka didn't, I think, do much after that, because one corner he had Lukin, another corner he had Froly, and on the other corner Andrew was flanking around them. They just crossfired the mouse from 3 sides.
Yeah, the problem is that I7 that was left on the top of the 8 line, that was Rulezik playing for Utopia, and he was covered by Muka from the back of the hill. So that was all fine while he was fighting the tanks ahead of it, and he was in cooldown. But once they crossed the road and he was flanked from his back, no one was actually covering him. Once he fell, actually Utopia just fell apart like dominoes because they could not deal frontally with mouses. Even that Ice 4 that was left on 1 shot, it was enough because when he does a side scrape, reverse side scrape, combined with mouses, it's complete control of the 8 line. Ooh, look brilliant at that, damage Mojo. By Yukets. That paid off heavily already.
Yeah, but Mojo, we all 3 have Yukets, so...
It doesn't matter. Combat also.
Combat there with a nice amount of damage, but so did Andrew, so I'm kind of happy about that. Tomaszek actually in that tier 8, not doing too bad as well. Lukin, boy oh boy.
Oh boy.
That's not good for us, even though Tomaszek didn't do much more. We're about even, Mojo, let's put it like that.
Well, that Lukin play here was not the brilliant one. That's something that actually Andrew was pointing out. They had individuals' mistakes all the time. But that's something you have to live with as a team. I'm
glad I didn't pick Froly, though, because wouldn't be worth the money right now. I mean, no offense. But, you know, I think you're doing the best so far, actually. Thinking about it, you have Hulknik. You now have Combat doing pretty well as well. Yeah.
So far, so good.
You might overtake Ryan. I don't think you'll get to me, but
It's hard, man. He's like 70 spots ahead of me, I think.
Everything is doable. I think I jumped like 80 spots last week, so
64, actually. I just checked.
yeah. But so
We'll
far
see.
so good. So far so good. Now that is Himmelsdorf done. Now going into mines, eSuba showing they're doing the work. I mean, 7 guys alive until the last few seconds. It's a clean win on Himmelsdorf, no matter how much HP.
Yeah, it was great, and we already saw that Utopia is always troubling when they're fighting against lineups with like 3 mouses, because they like to play with those faster setups and lighter tanks. But mines should be the map for Utopia. We already said on the start that there is a high chance that eSuba will pick up at least 1 round on Himmelsdorf.
Look at this lineup, though, Mojo. Double mouse from Utopia on the attack. We've seen this on CIS, but not on EU.
Yeah, if you show the 3 mouses, we can show you 2 on the mines here. This is gonna be rather interesting here.
It's going to be very interesting, but eSuba's lineup is also one that looks like it wants to take the hill, Mojo.
It looks really confronting, and it looks like they want to fight from the start. But they need to take these mouses, and this is not a corner kind of map like Himmelsdorf.
Well, Mojo, can the mouse win another game? Let's find out as we move into our second map. It's going to be mines. Here we have it, the second map between Utopia and eSuba. It's going to be mines, 1-1, and look at this.
Well, March of the Mouses in the water, it's going to be the fastest march ever. Combined with wet weight, it's going to be good if they don't just stay there, stuck. But the pressure will be there. There is no RTPs for eSuba that can do anything about decapping, and they don't even have a T49 nor Grille. So this is a big problem for them, because they actually have to win a firefight against Utopia. Utopia will have angles covered to shoot the tanks that are trying to peek from the ridges.
Now, Mojo, the question is, does any of the eSuba tanks on their batchas have a small gun, as Koma takes the first bit of damage here? Didn't get to look at it just yet. When we see the batchas, Mojo, pay attention to me if they have any small guns so far. You catch it over.
It's going to be a nightmare if they do.
Well, I'm just worried that maybe one of them
Actually,
does.
remember this game now. Light tanks capping behind mouses. This is a big problem when you don't have an RTP on mines, because how do you deal with this now?
Whoa, you can takes the pain train! 1,665 for crossing over to the K4 position. Well, that's gonna hurt, as now Froly will probably be forced to go deal with the mouses head on Ukets. Boy, that hurts.
15 seconds, 10 seconds, 11 seconds to the end of the cap. Someone will have to bite the bullet and go for it, Aki.
17 seconds, it did get resetted. I think it was Froly, but Froly's now out of position because they're going to push forwards with both these mouses and make him pay for that, as Combat here is going to make the climb towards Bihu. Overus is coming from the other side. A lot of misses on towards Combat here. He fails the climb, actually, and him and Overus are now locked down in that area. As Muka gets another connection out. In the meantime, Froly, he took a lot of damage from those mouses. You can see it. The health bar dropping. The health of eSuba dropping. Half of what Utopia have right now. And the cap's back down to 13 seconds.
What, I mean, what health, man. They have like 5 HP, 5k HP, that's like a double less than Utopia, and the cap is still going on. Yes, Dynamo fell now, but still, look at the HP.
1 second, 0 seconds. It looks like base capture from Utopia, and they've done it, and they've done it in style. That was a quick attack, and that's very important as well.
If it comes to a longer game, what Daki means, if it's a tiebreaker, this was a game of 2 minutes and 25 seconds, something like that. That's really remarkable time, and they will probably have a pick then.
Issue of not having an RD exposed.
It's a big problem. Even if they had a 49, it would be useful, because he would be
You
able
would not
to
be able to
shoot.
hit RU. You need an RD.
Yeah, for RU you would need an RT, but he would at least keep those mouses in check.
Yep.
Well, rip here for defense of mines. For eSuba, they will have to go on offense and show us what they know here. But even before the match started, we said that this is a map where actually Utopia can break off 2-0, and they're at the moment proving us so.
I don't know what to say. You'll see what I'm talking about pretty soon.
Again?
Don't even say anything. Let's take a look at stats, and we'll see it. We won't see it on the first page, but you'll see what I mean when we get to the second page. 6 Utopia players here on the first page. Only Overus to break into that top 7. It was a cap game after all, but Utopia killed most of the HP from eSuba.
it wouldn't even matter at the end of the day. They could have picked whatever they want to do on this map. But this is pretty much self-explanatory. There is nothing here to look for. I mean, they completely surprised them by tactics. You could see eSuba actually had no idea what to do about it.
Indeed, and that's what I'm talking about, Mojo. Combat at 735, so you're not doing that bad. Andrew and Yukets, that's okay for me. It's not that great for you, but...
Lukin is doing brilliant.
What about Tomasek?
Even pretty much equal as Lukin.
That's okay, though, because I just have to stay ahead. I don't have to expand my lead, you know? I'm ahead. That's all that matters.
You're going about that saying, like, how do you outrun a bear? Like, there are two guys. How do you outrun a bear, you know?
I just have to run faster than you.
Exactly.
And Mojo, I know that joke. It's like you
it's
see...
not even a joke, it's a
like,
fact.
It's like you see a bear, the guy starts taking off his shoes. Why are you taking off your shoes? Well, I just have to outrun you. You can't run at a bear. Great joke, man. Actually, that one was pretty decent. But yeah, 2-1. That was very quick from Utopia. I think we could all see what happened there, but the mouse was going on the cap. They created shield for the RU. eSuba had nothing to really counter it.
No, like, tactically completely unprepared. There was only one way they could play their tactic. That's push on a hill. Utopia was completely uninterested for any kind of those plays. Their tactic from the start
Hill?
was... yeah, that would be the latest of the late pushes there if they went for that.
Mouse going uphill. Yay.
Yay, that will be a long march. But sound tactic here coming from Utopia. They didn't invent it. We already said that was played on CIS region by Tornado. Also successful as far as I remember.
I think so.
And again, having no arty here was a problem.
Mouse, not an uncommon pick anymore. Tornado even played it on Ghost Town in the tiebreaker.
Unbelievable, but even before the patch, so many teams take Mouse tank on different maps. I can't even imagine what will happen in a week.
Somebody's going to play 6 Mouses. Probably be Gunrunners, but somebody's going to play.
I just said, I'm so happy. I don't have to make tactics anymore. I'm just going to lean back and say, whoo, look at this.
I can see 6 Mouse, 2 type 5 heavies, 4 Mouse, something like that. But let's take a look at the lineups for this one. As eSuba, take it fairly standard, Mojo.
eSuba in attack, rather light as usual. 2 1-1-3s, Skodas to control the middle if there is any push, and 3 Bachats so you can climb the mountains and of course that middle. Utopia again playing heavy. I don't know. Actually, this kind of play by Utopia can bounce badly on them.
Mojo, but now the factor here is Utopia has Papa Pavian. Factor 2, eSuba do not have an RD. How much of an impact could Papa Pavian possibly have into this round?
If there is anyone making a big mistake from eSuba players, he is going to be the guy to punish them. We need to see, will anyone from eSuba actually pick up maybe a shell from Grilla in the start?
Let's find out. Let's get into it. Second round on Mines, Utopia lead 2-1. eSuba has to attack. Utopia just has to defend. And like you said, let's see if there's any initial damage taken by eSuba.
eSuba is spreading their their lines immediately, taking over the island. Interesting part there. Really unchallenged approach here by Overus.
This is really, really risky here by Combat. I don't know if he's going to try and instantly do the climb. It looked like that for a second, like he was lining up to do the climb instantly. I hope he doesn't. Yes, he is, like I said.
Oh my god, this could hurt a lot.
He's going.
He's still
going.
spotted.
That's... Ooh, a miss from one of the... Oh, but he's on fire! Combat, no! He's burning! Minus 1.3. I was going to say either the 100 or the Gorilla missed him.
But he's still not safe.
Oh! Papa Pavian from the back lines removes Combat in the beginning as Mojo steers are all over the place. And I asked you, what kind of an effect can Papa Pavian have? Well... there we go.
Crocodile tears coming in here, full of salt. And a lot of more salt coming. But this is a problem for eSuba. This was hasty play. It was not planned. I don't even understand why did they risk
trying to beat the timing of the E100, but it doesn't work. Like, it looked like he was trying to get there before the E100 got up because of the fact that some teams, like Ding keeps their E100 in the base. They keep him next to the Gorilla to try and do an initial shot, and then he moves down, which is like 5 to 10 seconds.
That's such a blind play. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's a complete blind play.
Risk.
It's a complete blind play. But if they played it similar to Ding did, it would have worked out wonderful.
But Utopia played it like Utopia, and Combat is dead. And with his untimely death and my death of my points, never mind that. is a lot of problems now for eSuba because they have a big gun down and they have to think what to do now. They know that one side is completely locked away from them, and I'm afraid at one point it's just gonna come to the old gun runners tactics. YOLO. They're not gonna have a choice.
Papapavian now has a shot available to him. He does not have any targets whatsoever. Right now, though, you never know. Papapavian, he's eyeing up his eye on the bush where we usually see blind shots come out. He makes the connection. 384. I mean, it's something.
Andrew not happy here, but maybe he's happy that actually he sensed that the shell is coming, so he moved away. Otherwise, that would actually be a direct shot.
It could be that.
Yeah, so especially because he was turned with his engine deck toward that side, so he would run away faster. But when Artie hits you, you don't run.
Mojo, if you remember anything from this week, you don't have to hit somebody in the engine to one-shot them.
Unreal. Ducky plays Artie in randoms, guys. I just got a squeal on him. And he's like, when he one-shoots people, like, yay!
That's a lie. No proof.
I have a demo.
I mean, I did pen an E5 from the front.
Yes.
Andrew taking some more blind damage there, 108. Oh, Papapavian already very annoying in this round for eSuba. Constant threat, constant shots, constantly have to be afraid. And how does eSuba get out of this predicament? How do they win this round?
Honestly, I don't think they have a real plan how to deal with it. If they wanted to do something, probably the worst possible choice is to push here because UTOPIA is covering the water and their tanks will be slowed down. Shuku is taking some damage. Okay, if he takes some more damage and they push, and again, UTOPIA doesn't hit their shells by FC Dynamo, by Kolesto, then never mind that.
Shuku takes some damage, but Andrew takes a little bit more for his trouble.
Lucky for him, he still had a repair,
He's
or
still
he would
alive.
or he would have a dead engine there.
He's lucky to still be alive.
Exactly. UKETS and Lukin are pressing here toward the water, but UTOPIA does have Papapavian, and that will not be an issue for him to decap at any point. I mean, eSuba is very real to themselves. There is not many options left for them in this game, and it's not getting prettier by the as the time passes.
No, it doesn't get any better for them as now UKETS and looking at pushing up. Artie, another blind connection on towards Andrew this time. He's down to just 8 HP. Now his gunner is dead as well. Andrew not having a great game here either, which is really, really tough for me.
Papapavian, didn't you kill your cat in a previous life or something? Like, why so much hate?
He must have done something wrong. As now UKETS and Lukin are starting to approach. They're going to try and push the 3 line here against FC Dynamo. But look at the damage. UKETS is not going to do much in this round. He's down to 119. Shuku clipping out on the guys driving down the 1-2 line. Lukin and UKETS trying to do something here. Shuku will go down for this, but at what cost for eSuba? I mean, look at their tanks. They're not healthy.
Again, 4,000 HP advantage here for UTOPIA. Shuku will fall soon. But it doesn't he even picked up over us. Oh my god, he might actually survive.
Somehow I doubt that Shuku's going to die as soon as he's still alive. And now UTOPIA starting to move towards the hill. Colossoid did take some damage, yes, in his Grilla from Lukin, from UKETS, but it's not enough for eSuba. They're 4,000 HP down, and they have no claim whatsoever on this round.
No, they really have nothing to do now. Froley will now try to push on Shuku. Let's see, will he pick up some damage doing so? Yeah, there we go.
The first connection comes out. Amraxim, the second connection comes out as well. Those are the Gorillas. Minus 1.5 on towards Froley. He might get Shuku. He does get Shuku, but now Tomasek left in a world of pain. He has 3 shots and a dream. Does one. Let's not hope he does the other one. But yes, he clips out on towards Muka, who doesn't even care at this point because they know they're going to kill him. And this is eSuba not having a strong start on this map either.
No, this was something that we thought might happen, but that's always possibilities. There was always one that they will actually manage to defend mines. I was really skeptical if they would pick up the attack, but in some cases, stats really don't lie. eSuba still has 0% on defense on the mines, and well, the attack is not getting any better, as we can see.
Nope, Lukin now getting crossfired from 2 sides, from the north and the south. He goes down towards 89 HP. He might go down actually before UKETS does, and now the UTOPIA is coming in. Dynamo claims 1, Lukin kills Papapavian. The RD actually, Colossoid picks Lukin up as now Froley The lost man standing with a dream but no team, so it's just a meme.
Oh, mate. You're almost like a Shakespeare. Just almost.
Almost like we're close.
Shakespeare rhymes
We're
also.
We're like this close.
Yeah.
That was a decent rhyme. That was like a solid 5, to be honest.
So next map will be Ghost Town.
Mojo,
Hmm?
combat.
Best play ever.
Let's talk about it. Didn't really work out. I'd still stand by it.
I've seen the movie Gone in 60 Seconds. I think he was going like, can I die fast enough? for that?
Mojo, you really got me on the edge here of a joke, but refrain yourself. Refrain yourself. But yeah, combat there. I mean, if Utopia plays it like lighting, that E100 wants to get that connection out, don't look at me like that, towards the TVP, then he would get up on the 0 line. And he even got lucky because I think the Gorilla or the E100 missed him, but then the RT didn't.
Still, see, you got set on fire. That's a lot of bad karma there. But when you play blind, it's a huge risk, and it's really kind of a feature of a teams that don't know what they want to do, actually. It was a huge risk, and it really definitely didn't pay off. And Dynamo, rather easy farming game here, 3.8k almost there, followed by Bihu Papa Pavian with really nice game in his RT. So Froley in his squad was actually the only guy who did some damage. He was on island, I believe.
Froley always manages to sneak in there somehow on the top spots. 2.2 from him. Not bad, not bad. Shuku, 1,800, did his job. Didn't have to do anything else. Killed the guy coming down 1-2 line. Perfect play from him, pretty much. Now, I mean, eSuba tried something, but after losing combat, who's going to have 0 damage, that we do know. They had no options available to them. Uket's only 512. Tomasek. That's his even now. Tomasek and combat, Mojo.
Sad panda.
Feels bad, man.
He does, actually. I'm with you, combat. I'm feeling you, bro. Please do some damage next round.
But now Ghost Town coming out between these two.
Ghost
I
Town
mean,
can go anyway.
I'm cheating on the stats.
They're pretty much similar. Utopia has a bit better.
So it should be a 1-1.
Yes, there is a high chance for that, but we know that this map actually favors the attackers usually. Still, it doesn't mean anything if the defender manages to take the fight to the attacker and take them off guard. It can be a good game for them.
I wonder how the next patch will affect the UDES and the position there, because will there be any other tank that can be put on the cap there? No, mouse doesn't really work there either. T95 and E3. T95 is just too big, I think.
I'm just looking forward to all ridiculous ideas that players will try to
For
play.
ridiculous ideas, I think I'm going to talk to Danny, like, Danny, my buddy, where do you see T95s working? Where do you see E3s working? Because with the speed buff, we might actually see them more.
We could, because
Especially
they can try to put them
E3.
in a pocket, but we already see that's gunrunners putting TDs in a pocket in attack and so on. But these are eSuba and Utopia, and they do have different playstyles.
Yeah, let's take a look at the lineups between these two. Mojo, I just thought of something. Scorpion with an E3 behind it on the cap on Ghost Town.
We've seen Scorpion with a TD, as far as I remember, behind.
With a nice 7.
With i7 and with Jack Panzer if you watch that.
That doesn't count. But AMX30 here for Utopia can be played on 2 ways, Mojo.
Utopia in defense, playing with one E100 and one tier 9 VZ. And the prototype is usually pushed up on a hill so he can decap from high position, from high elevated position. But we've seen some teams actually like to press with this kind of lineup. I don't think they will do it against the eSuba, who are playing the faster lineup than themselves.
Well, Mojo, let's find out if Utopia can put themselves on match point or eSuba is going to claim Ghost Town for themselves. Let's get into it.
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map, made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for the top base, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks. Sometimes the teams choose fast tanks for spotting and base capturing.
Well, Utopia versus eSuba, 3-1 here for Utopia, who are defending while eSuba goes on the attack.
Okay, Like we can see the grouped positions here by eSuba going from the lower side of the map. They're trying to do super aggressive play, maybe catch Rulezik there. That's a kind of side push, or Bihu.
They are going straight for Biku Mojo, like you said, Froly and Combat. There's no support from Utopia right now. Actually, as I say that, Froly takes 2 connections, 3 connections. He goes down towards the one shot as Biku is driving around the corner, dragging them out in the open. Great connections coming out here from Utopia, and the Suba paying very, very much for this.
And the problem is Bihu is still alive, and I seriously doubted that actually Combat can even take him out with the shells he has. So this is really not worthy for them. Combat will be on reload, Bihu will get shells before him. But if they just stay like this, he can take him out, of course. But I don't think Utopia will just wait and sit tight until he dies.
Dynamo tried to cross over to try and help, but he quickly decides that this is not a good idea for them, as Overus is actually sitting in that northern cap as Papa Pavian's like, okay, I'll go deal with RU.
Overus against Papa Pavian, well, you know who has a bigger gun here in this game. So that's not going to end well for him. And we have already Froly down for eSuba, so Utopia just has to play it slow and cover Bihu as best they can while they're closing their ranks.
At this moment in time, Utopia seems to be closing the distance here against eSuba, Mojo. And I think at this point, the engagement's about to start, and we should listen in with eSuba and how they're going to recover from this.
Tak budeme muset pušnout tady to, jako nemají tady 30. Nebo ujedeš?
Jako ujel jsem, no. Jede k vám.
To má Bechu hodně dobrou pozici. Jedou. Ne?
Já tu mám toho krana.
Bacha, ta třicka furt je v boku, jo?
No, já už jdu dozad.
Kolik mají Bčka venku? Bčka jsou venku?
Veze to.
Moc nemají venku.
Koleso dvě venku má. Když se tam udržíte, Andrew,
Po druhý na treku, mrakar. Nemá opravy.
dej mu Luky track, já za 10 klipů.
Nedám mu tracka, není nesklupím.
Luky jsou dopředu.
Řekni, až vystřelí.
Na Andrew až ho míří.
Rychle
Ryb, vole. Jo, krakena na tak.
Jo, Alton.
Dynamo vystřílel. Má jednu maximum.
Nabím. Dáme to? Se ne, ty vole.
No, to jsem zahořel, vole.
Hasičáky for the win.
Tady potřebuješ rádlo, ale.
Looked close there at one point, Mojo, but Utopia with the gun advantage with the double tier 9 managed to pull ahead.
Let's say also still Papa Pavian came from their back, so that's one combat damage dealer more. And we see the last struggle here of eSuba. It did look close in one moment because once Bihu fell and he was only on one shot, and a lot of tanks from the lower side started taking damage like Colesoid. That was a bit needless, I would say, from Utopia's side. So eSuba managed to come closer in HP, but still there was so much overwhelming tanks from Utopia coming from the upper side of the town where they had upper position above and they were doing constant damage. So eSuba just didn't have enough juice to end the round.
Nice shooting from Utopia though in the beginning there when Froly and Combat cross. If they make it across both of them,
I was deleting of a tank from a game.
yeah, if they make it across both of them, then they take down Bihu, and it doesn't matter that one of them is on a one shot. They could still do the damage.
Again, eSuba tried to do a blind push. Again, we already said that's kind of a move that the desperate teams do. This is not something I really like to see because I see it a bit as a weakness, but still, it can perform, it can work out. We've seen it happen multiple times. But this is the problem because they're on 11 points and Utopia is on 15. Theoretically, they should be close. But at the moment, eSuba is playing like a scared team. And they should just fight. We've seen them fight during the season. We've seen them take the fight to the enemy, not like these kind of rushes.
UGET's doing very well there, but so did Combat, Mojo. They're the two players from eSuba to break into that top 7. The Baraka are coming in doing 3K, and Papa Pavian, again, good performance throughout this game so far, even Rulezik, which is usually not one of those players we see in those top 7 positions. Coming in there, place number 4. Yeah, all around, not bad performance here.
My God, Froly
Not having a good game.
not having a good day. he will have to take some headache pills after this one.
Yeah, UCAT's combats. I mean, our players are very close to each other looking at it. You're ahead a little bit. Just a little
Just
bit.
slight, but that doesn't really matter. Honestly, we would actually like eSuba to do much more.
Yep. I want them to pick up 3 more rounds at least.
Yes, that would be very nice, but currently it doesn't really look like so. I mean, this is already a match point for Utopia. Most of the games were rather fast, and they were for Utopia in their favor. It doesn't look like eSuba has how to fight against them.
Well, perhaps they'll show us how to do it on the defense, Mojo. You never know, because Ghost Town is one of those maps where we usually see the defender, sometimes we see the defender go very aggressive because it is hard as a defender to cover all your bases. It's like the thing the better teams are able to do. As maybe arguably a little bit weaker teams, sometimes we see them push forwards to try and take it towards the attacker to surprise them.
Yeah, still, but we have Utopia on the other side, who is also a team who likes to play aggressive, and we will not expect them to just throw it away easily. We did see some excursions they played with a couple of E100s, like 3 of them, and getting in some strange crossfires and dying so. But this game, it does look like they can just relax and play it slow and just see what will eSuba do, because eSuba likes to push super hard, and it does look like Utopia is aware of that.
Yeah, the question is, can eSuba do it? What tanks they're gonna pick and everything, and then we'll be able to decide. But right now, it's not looking good for them. 4-1 is a pretty decisive scoreline to come back from that and win. It would be 4 rounds in a row. That is...
Especially on Ghost Town and Steps.
Especially Steps.
Yeah.
Well, Mojo, it starts on Ghost Town, so let's take a look at the tanks they have chosen for their defensive side, that being eSuba. With double FE215B, I don't think they're going to be going very aggressive, but Utopia here with 3 batches. At least it's not 6 batches like last time, if you remember.
Yeah, that one was like a sick game, but I had great fun watching it, honestly. It was super fun. But that was their tiebreaker pick. Anyways, Utopia playing with a rather fast lineup here, we can see that. They can press any cap with this and just choose to run away from it. eSuba actually going for DPM version with those 2 FV heavies, but that's a rather risky one.
Older meta as well.
Yeah, because if it's really old meta, because if they get tracked anywhere, they burn easily, they lose Amorek easily, and they can get penned easily. So I don't know how much can this pay off, unless some other tanks take the brunt of the damage, but there are no other tanks who can take that kind of damage in their team.
There is not indeed. And let's get into it. The second round here on Ghost Town between Utopia and eSuba, where Utopia lead 4-1 on the attack. eSuba on the defense. Going to try and look and hold on. And where are all these bad shots going, Mojo?
Well, it does look like they're going toward the 1 cap area, but they're dispersing, and that's actually good, because that doesn't mean that they will not do a blind push. But look at this, eSuba is actually engaging them immediately.
Yeah, indeed, they are straight on towards them, but they're not pressing though. They're just making a little bit of a trap at UCATs, but they're not actually pressing all the way towards Utopia.
Utopia might actually decide and just pick up all the tanks and go elsewhere on the other cap. They're certainly fast enough for that. eSuba position here like that will be an imminent cap pressure on cap number 1, and that would probably prove disastrous at this moment for Utopia. But Utopia, you can see, they're already reorganizing.
Very true, Mojo. Look at these 3 batcha. Well, 3 batcha. Sorry, Marakar, you're not quite a batcha, but it's Shukur, Rulezik, and Marakar in his Tier 9 T54E1. Shukur, Rulezik already on the flanks here of the eSuba tanks. And how much can they do from here?
Well, they can do quite a lot, because eSuba will have to rotate left and right, and that will give some free shots to them. But of course, Utopia cannot accept any kind of direct fight here, because they have 0 armor on all of their tanks combined.
UCATS does spot them out in that batch shot, so the correct rotation being made for eSuba, getting the information they need, and now Shukur Rulezik can't do much from here as Muka takes another connection on towards his Emil 2. Yes, it's a great hold-on tank, but it's not unpenetratable.
Especially when you turn a turret. But in this moment, still a bit stale game here, because Utopia must be very careful how they commit. They cannot really take, at the moment, close fight with eSuba, because the HP is rather same, and eSuba is of course trenched up, so they can cover each other well.
Some connections coming out here though from Shuku on towards Lucan, gets one but takes one in return, the second one didn't miss. And Mojo, don't you think right here there is a little bit of a potential here for for Utopia to put 3 tanks on the cap? It's Shuku, Rulezik and Muraka perhaps.
There is, but they do seem to be scared to do it at the moment. I am not sure what actually Utopia wants to do now, because maybe they didn't expect a lineup like this from eSuba. I mean, this is super risky lineup by eSuba, but it may work against such a light lineup, because they do have a great DPM. They can shoot them down really fast.
Might work indeed as Muraka takes even more, actually goes down towards 507. Takes a lot of damage for that play that they made there on towards the left side. He's now going to be forced to play a lot more passive in a tank that you want to put onto the front lines to do a clip and die pretty much. Now the base has started to be captured by Utopia, but I think it's a little bit too late at this point even.
But they have to do something to turn the game around. So of course they will try to use the advantage they have, and that's having a lot of clippers. If eSuba actually pushes in some bad spot, they can use that and then just scatter around and run away.
So Rulezik's on the capture circle here. 1 minute and 30 seconds before that one is capped. But eSuba have the HP Mojo. They have 2,500 more, and they have those DPM tanks. If they can close into Utopia without losing those FA215Bs, get the first reloads off of Utopia.
If they manage to close in to Utopia without losing a tank, and even if the HP is then equal, they will actually have advantage because they have more single shooters, and Utopia will have to run for it. They will have to run for it hard. But we've seen, even when we played the game, Utopia played with 6 Bachats, even after losing 1. And even if it looked like really easy for them, they were really hard to kill after that. But here you go, the push is on.
The push is on indeed, and now it's the perfect time to listen to Utopia and how they're going to deal with this push.
Я
Dawaj,
я убью этого. Нет, не убью. ПВ.
Я Себата огарну. Да, я Себата огарну.
Я релоуд,
Я reload, 19
Мука,
sekund.
можешь
У меня
уходить?
две
Я тебя
Ja,
закрою.
ja,
если чё.
ja już jadę.
Подожди,
jadę.
подожди, ФВ.
Na wieżę.
Он КД?
Tak.
У нас хватит КД, если что. Вы
10 sekund mam,
подождете,
10
то
sekund,
будет всё
9.
нормально. У меня тоже типа так
8,
же.
8.
Dobra, ja KD.
Ja ci mogę dać... Dobra.
Он
4,
КД.
3.
Ты быстрее, да?
Rules, tu bez masz do bicia, Rules u mnie.
Хорош.
No,
Я
to-
КД.
Dobra, jedziemy.
Я
А,
тогда
КД.
поехали убивать.
Da, na B.
Всё, го, поехали.
Dobra,
Хорош,
все, GG.
хорош.
Всё, нормально. 5 секунд. 5 секунд. 5 секунд.
O kurwa, udes.
O kurwa. Wiadrzu.
O kurwa, udes.
Дескать.
Yeah, that Udas can still be annoying. He gets Golosoid even extending the fate for eSuba for just 10 more seconds or so when they find him and take him down. Combat, Mojo, you better hope he sets somebody on fire.
Some 2 guys on fire.
Well, Bihu is going to make the climb, but before that, Shuku is already clipping out towards the Udas, and Combat goes out of siege where he's like, no, you can't hit me. I'm sorry.
Man, but
Bihu failed. Oh, Shuku gets the final kill, and that is it. That's 5-1 for Utopia. What a quick night.
well, this is what we really said on the start of this game. Yes, they had an advantage, but if they want to kill Utopia, they will have to push in eventually, and they would have to do it so well that they don't lose a significant amount of tanks there. And we said this is the only way for Utopia actually to equal the odds. This is exactly what happened. Those FE heavies, if you remember what we said from the start, not the greatest push tanks at all. Easily tracked, easily penned, and we saw like at least 2 of them died immediately, like they never existed.
Yeah,